Now this is important. I'm going to use some plumber's tape, metal plumber's tape. This is a heavier gauge. They make lighter gauges, which would probably work, but this is heavier. I'm going to use these for safety straps to put on roof panels to the wall panels at the corner, so it can't roll off when I go to lift the roof up. Really should have made them a little longer, but it will work. So I'll show you what I've done. See how I put that in there? I'm going to the outside. So as that rolls up, it's going to prevent it from falling off the wall, or at least from falling very far. Still on my tripod, so see what I did here? So anyway, that's what the roof panels look like before we roll them up. I'm going to show you what's going on at these corners. Make sure I'm getting this the way I want to. So anyway, you can see, let's go around, is important. How I secured it, and as I roll it up, it should stay in place. So this board is pre-cut to about 9 foot, and it's just a matter of working this on up and then securing it at the plate line. Along here, I'll put 5 screws along here once I get all the ways up. It's important right here. I have some, I'll be cutting up some wedges. You want to be careful you leave a slight gap in here. If it gets too tight in here, it just doesn't, you better have a little gap, and maybe I'll show a close-up of that. But anyway, that's how this thing goes together. Just like this. Do it 3 more times and the roof will be up. And the basic structure's there, and then it's just a matter of filling in on the walls. If you didn't want to, you could leave it as a gazebo. And just leave it open, as long as you weatherproof it real well. But anyway, I'll go ahead and show you how we're going to finish up the roof. So before I go too far on assembling the roof, I want to show you what I'm talking about as far as the gap goes. So there, that's about right. See, it's not all the ways into the corner right there. So I'd say that's about perfect. Once they're up, if you leave it loose, you can jam them together somewhat. But now see here, make sure I get in there. See how that's real tight? It's kind of coming over the center. Well, that's just going to push the other panel off a little bit. So we're better off with a gap there. Best way to do that is to, get a wedge in there. Excuse me while I put my sunglasses on, and I should need 2 hands for this, I think. Whoops. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a hammer and drive that in. Of course, there's none nearby. Hold on. So what I want to happen is the panel to go uphill slightly. And you see the way that strap's put in there, there's enough slack that will allow it. So anyway, it might be a matter of just pushing straight up on the panel or tapping that wedge in. Like I said, I'm working alone. I got one hand on the camera, so. And you can see it's moving up. I'm going to call that good for now. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it isn't. Nothing is. Now I want to make sure my wall panel is tight at the top, right through here. So I might need to smack it. Of course, there's a hammer. Awesome, it's not moving. I gotta lift it up. So the first thing I want to do before I screw off or nail off this roof panel to the wall is make sure that I'm tight up here. And we are. So now I can reach over. And a little bit, there's a gap there, doesn't really hurt. If you're on the outside, you can push it in possibly, but or maybe I'll reach over and pull it in a little bit. But I'd say that's within tolerance, even if you just screwed it down right there. I want to make sure we got a little bit of play down here. Now I'm going to reach over on this step ladder and screw this wall panel off. So I'm going to put 5 screws from the roof panel down into the wall panel. And believe it or not, I'll be able to pull this brace out, and then the roof will just kind of hang there. And I'm not saying I'm going to leave it that way, but just to demonstrate that once I tie the roof panel to the wall panel is how strong the structure is. So there's no other bracing holding up this roof panel. Now I'm certainly not going to leave it that way, but that should kind of give you an idea of how strong it is and this building technique. And it's based on 8 trapezoids and 8 triangles. So this is just a demonstration. Oops. Nothing holding up except itself. Again, I think it's important to show how I put the safety strap in, and see it rolled over as it came up and made some slack in here. So the one side is into the wall panel and the other side is going into the roof panel right at the valley there. And I'll do the same thing on the next one. And sometimes it gets a little bit tight trying to jam it all together, but it does all come together. And if you need to create space once these come together, if it's too tight, take a wedge and drive it in there and shove one of them or the other uphill a little bit. You can undo the screws as need be. So anyway, at this point it's a matter of just having this all come together. You can see what it looks like so far. It's actually pretty simple. Kind of a pain with one person though. Walking through the forest, things don't feel too good. You stop, you hear knocking of the wood, knocking of the wood, knocking of the wood, knocking of the wood. Better learn the signals, another's neighborhood. Walking through the forest, you stop. You hear knocking of the wood, knocking of the wood, knocking of the wood, knocking of the wood. Knocks is there silent, you're praying and you should. Terror overtakes you as at the knocking of wood. Knocking of wood. Knocking of wood. Knocking of wood. Leave a different person, forget it if you could. Never wanna hear again the knocking of the wood. Knocking of the wood. Knocking of the wood.